Welcome to Gold Star Classroom, the podcast where our panelists go back to school. We'll grade them on their answers to a variety of general knowledge and trivia questions. They don't know what we're going to ask, and we don't know what they're going to say. The student with the highest grade at the end of the class will win the coveted classroom prize, the Golden Banana. I'm your host and headmaster, Professor Jerry Jaffe. All right, let's meet today's students. On my far left is writer and graduate student from Northeast Ohio, Nick Grimzik.
How you doing?
Hey, Nick. And on my left is Associate Professor of Political Science at Lake Erie College, Dr. Tom Davis.
Hello. I'm happy to be here.
Well, thanks for being here, Tom. On my far right is dietary aide living in Mentor, Ohio, Yuki Sonobe.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi. And finally, our last student sitting on my right, Cleveland-based comedian, Dr. Andy Meredith.
Kill Whitey.
Hey, Andy. Hey. Now, minus 5 points right there. We're going to be covering a series of general knowledge and trivia questions, and you will be receiving a grade for your answers. And at the end of the show, the student with the highest grade is going to win the classroom prize, the coveted Golden Banana.
Yay.
Are you ready, Dr. Meredith?
I'm ready.
Are you sure?
I think so.
We should get started in a jiffy.
All right.
You think so?
Yes.
Jiffy's an odd word. What do you think the word jiffy means?
It's an actual measurement of time that's a fraction of a second.
You are going
Is that like in a book or something? Is that like a real thing?
I spend too much time on Reddit every day.
Oh, Christ. All right.
Any other thoughts about what jiffy means?
Either peanut butter? The name of yeah.
It certainly has something to do with peanut butter.
Yes, peanut butter and oil.
Yes.
Oil, Jiffy Lube.
Jiffy
Oh,
lube.
yeah.
That's a thing.
Combination of oil, peanut butter.
Oh.
And fractions of seconds.
There we go.
Sound familiar, Andy?
Yes.
The word jiffy first appears in the English language in the 1780s, and at that time it has the kind of meaning probably that we use in everyday speech, just something that's quick or brief. But since then, it has been used as technical jargon.
As an actual measurement.
As an actual measurement. As it turns out, it's annoyingly complicated because depending on the field, it has a different measurement. But the most common...
That's what science is for.
That is what science complicating reality rather than clarifying it. Especially math is supposed to be pure. Instead, it's all made up as they go along. Mm-hmm. It is commonly described as 1/100th of a second.
How do you even measure 1/100th of a second? What can you do significantly in 1/100th of a second?
It's funny you would ask that, because that definition comes from the field of electronics. And it has to do with the measurement of currents.
Yeah.
All right.
And you can win races.
Okay, yeah.
Michael Phelps won by...
A jiffy.
Yeah.
A jiffy,
he did.
yes.
He won by a jiffy.
Well, this doesn't explain the peanut butter.
Yeah, I certainly...
I mean,
Because moms who don't care make PB&J for their kids all the time.
in a fraction of a
I
second.
don't have time to
make
prepare
proper
proper
food.
food for
Yes.
my kids. PB&J.
It's a jiffy lunch.
Yeah, exactly.
Any lunch you can make in the same time it takes to change the oil in your car.
I like to give my kids ramen
Oh, yeah.
because I want them to know I don't care. Not
Jiffy ramen.
yeah.
Ooh. It's like a satay flavored ramen noodle.
Exactly.
Yeah, satay.
I microwave it. That's how lazy I am.
Oh. Do you put the egg in it?
No,
No, that's good.
never even heard of that. What?
No, yeah, you want a little extra protein in there, and
Yeah,
then if
yeah,
you're doing it in the microwave, the egg will
so
cook up in there too.
Yeah,
Did any of you see the story out of, I think it was England, about the girl who, I don't know if she was in her late teens and had for her entire life only ate ramen noodles?
Oh,
No,
my God.
She made,
It sounds-
and that's right. She made it to her late teens.
That's I'm not sure how
That's
many
it.
more years she'll
Instead
make
of living,
it. But,
she's
she
dead
made it
now.
that far.
if you call that living.
I think they said she was examined by some medical people. I think they said she had the body of a 70-year-old or 80-year-old.
Oh my God!
Probably not surprising.
Well, eating styrofoam your entire life.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Well, I mean, she's from the UK, though. Who cares about those people?
I suppose so.
But I think for bringing up an interesting story, you should get a bonus 10 points.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
So that's 10 points for Tom.
Oh.
You don't appear to be keeping score in the written way.
Oh, I'm using the computer that I was born with to keep track of the score.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're going to mail us
It's the grade book.
banana?
It's the grade book is all up here, my friend. On the topic of anime, Japanese film, manga, television series,
Hentai.
including that as well. One of the features that the art form is known for is unusually large and cute eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick, do you know where that comes
Like
from?
Tom.
Similar to Tom's eyes. Yeah.
No,
I appreciate it.
It comes
the
from,
emphasis on cute, of course. Right? Yeah.
like the guy who invented Astro Boy. He was like inspired by Walt Disney's cartoons, right? Like, wasn't Donald Duck like his huge inspiration for?
Do you know that person's name? You get a gold star if you can name the guy.
Nope.
Any ideas?
Nope.
Osamu
Oh, that's
Tezuka
it. Yeah, dang it.
created Astro Boy.
Yeah. We don't have
And-
any, call somebody?
Call somebody? No.
Yeah, I should have called
You cannot
my daughter.
You cannot phone a friend on
Yeah,
this.
phone a friend. Right.
That we in class
Not
we
yet.
call that cheating.
Oh, okay. Can I cheat?
Unless you'd like an F.
And
but
also,
easier.
Japanese people doesn't have a big eye. So it's
yes,
like-
so it's it
it's
seems
like that,
unusual. Like
So we want to have like dang big eyes.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good emotional shorthand. Giving someone gigantic eyes.
Yeah.
In
Yes.
a cartoon
It's like,
format. That's
he cited the list I found Betty Boop
As an influence.
as an influence.
Betty Boop creeps me out.
And indeed,
Yeah.
Betty Boop was originally a dog, by the way. If you see
What?
the oldest Betty Boop cartoons, she has dog ears.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And then as they kept making them, they sort of turned her into a human.
Okay.
For bonus points from Dr. Andy Meredith, who's the actress that Betty Boop is based off of.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not sure. Is it based off a real actress?
It actually is, but I forget her name right now. So,
Okay, leave us hanging.
Yeah.
-5 for
Minus
that.
You were hoping we were.
-5 for bringing it up in the first place.
I don't know.
But yes, Tezuka also said that he thought that large eyes were an easy way to show emotional content quickly and cheaply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why when you want to have like a grouchy character in a comic strip, you don't give him eyes. You just give him like a solid black line.
And they, Japanese animation goes back to the early days of filmmaking. Even the 1910s, there were Japanese animators.
wow.
But what we think of as anime comes from Tezuka and others, with Astro Boy being sort of the famous early example.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a lot of money for filmmaking. So they took American animation techniques and cheapified everything.
Okay.
So eyes are a cheap way of illustrating the story.
And they've been sticking
Because
with that for
those
over
are the
100
only
years.
things that move in anime.
Well, that's another thing they did in anime to save money was they found it was cheaper to make the background colorful or artistic,
Yeah.
and then keep the actual movements minimal and simple. And so instead of having like Fred Flintstone run across like that,
Instead, Goku is just in one solid place, and they
Yes.
just show lines behind him to indicate that he's flying.
Is it true that they slowed down the animation for like broadcast of anime cartoons in America?
Oh, you
Because it always seems like in Dragon Ball Z, the guy's jumping for like 10 minutes. That's why there's 1,000 episodes of it,
well, I don't know about that, but I do know that there's a famous episode, I want to say, of Pokemon.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
edited so quickly it was causing seizures.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Porygon.
That's what I was
Uh-huh,
thinking.
right,
You said
yeah.
slow it down.
Yeah,
I was thinking
that's
seizure
what I was
effect.
thinking.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We should speed that back up. We have too many. There's too many people.
Yeah, Pokemon.
Although that is why when you watch old-timey films, the people move around like penguins quickly because they were also filmed at a different speed. And when you show them on modern equipment, it's
I just
not
thought they were
spooled right.
faster
Yes.
back then. You know, I just thought people walked faster.
Yes. Well, that was the less
They had
food.
shit to do.
Yes. They have these computers
in
and
a short
cars.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting out of the depression, they had a country to save.
Yes.
Greatest generation.
May I ask a question about U.S. history?
Okay.
So who is ready for a question about U.S. history?
I am.
Who was the tallest president?
Abraham Lincoln.
That is correct, although there are two presidents of that height. So there's someone that's tied with him. As
George
the-
Washington.
No.
Andrew Jackson.
No. It's listing president's time until someone randomly guesses.
Well, can you narrow it? Is it a more modern?
It is a more modern president.
Ah.
Billy?
I will.
Uncle Billy?
No, I'll say this. The way that I saw it defined in one source was Abraham Lincoln was the tallest president elected, and this other person was the tallest man to become president
George
by
W.
another
Bush.
means. I don't think George W. Bush is a very small man. Very small.
It's got to be
LBJ.
Gerald Ford.
LBJ.
LBJ.
Lyndon B.
Yeah.
Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
They are both
He used to show
I
his
didn't know he
penis
was
randomly to
6'4",
people.
193 centimeters.
For all our Canadian fans.
Yes.
Or everyone else around the world.
Well, they're not going to listen.
So conversely,
Which was the president that tried to integrate, like they had this big campaign to introduce the metric system to American school kids?
Jimmy Carter.
Was it him? Okay.
yes,
He would.
I was
Tried
a
to do that.
child at that time. I remember.
I love how America was just like,
Probably.
nah, we're not
Nah,
doing
exactly.
it. Nah.
Why? You guys
What do you mean?
You guys are
Space 10?
crazy.
We're not-
I have no ideas. I like metric system.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
everyone
it's simple.
does. It
Yeah,
makes
it's
sense.
simple.
It's
yeah.
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
very reasonable. But
I
we're not
accept
going to
here.
learn it.
I
Yeah.
did not agree to keep using the standard system.
Yeah, let's-
Like, if I had been Jimmy Carter.
You wouldn't have given up.
No.
Well, it's because he didn't have a second term.
We can blame it on the English again.
Yes. That is another problem of theirs. Who was the shortest president?
Napoleon.
No, though he probably wanted to be.
What was it? Who was the moron who gave like the 6-hour speech in the rain and died like the next day?
That would be William Henry Harrison.
Thank you. Yeah. Was it him?
No,
Okay.
although
Can you give
Benjamin
us-
Harrison was the second shortest.
Can you give us
Woodrow Wilson.
This is one of the classics, like Founding Fathers.
FDR. Who was
No.
in the
Oh, it's
wheelchair?
John-
Because he was
John
sitting.
Quincy.
John Adams.
The guy in the wheelchair. He was sitting.
Franklin Delano
That's
Roosevelt.
what I said,
Sir.
FDR, and then I wasn't sure. So I'm like, the guy in the wheelchair, FDR.
James Madison,
Madison.
5'4".
Oh, taller than me.
In this, especially our contemporary media age, there's a kind of urban legend that taller candidates win.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would say better looking candidates win. I don't know. I
Absolutely.
mean,
Right.
tall might be part of it.
Yeah.
I have a statistic here that says there have been 28 presidential elections between 1900 and 2011. How many of those do you think the taller person won?
3.
No, it's a good guess.
I'd say 50%.
It's not quite
You
50%.
athlete.
50%
Taking the safe way out.
would definitely put to bed the guess that it was the urban legend.
Yes.
No, 18 of the winning candidates have been taller than their opponents.
Wow.
8 have been shorter, and 2 have been approximately the same height. But on average, the winner was only 1 inch taller than the loser. So, in some,
Inches make victory.
yes,
In so many ways.
yes,
Oh my.
the inches lying all over this campaign, except to fight for them. From the world of natural history, here's everyone's favorite paradoxical question: what color are zebras?
They're white.
We have a vote for white. We have another vote for white.
I would say they're no color.
How no color? That's interesting.
I mean, polar
That's
bears are no
racist.
color as well. Correct?
I do not have information about polar bears in front of
It's
me.
just the way,
Yeah.
it's the way the light is reflected. They are actually no color.
Their fur or their skin?
Well, I would assume when you're talking about zebras,
Yes.
How do we know
I
they're
don't
no
even know
color?
what zebras have.
Well, zebras
Are they covered with hair?
zebras are mammals.
Having
They
never
are
touched one.
They're much like they're
It's
a lot
like a very
horses.
fancy
They're
horse.
Well, like a donkey. They're more like a donkey.
They are vaguely in the same family, although they're branched off on their own. There are actually 3 different
The
types
good
of
branch.
surviving zebras, but all 3 of those zebras are not closely related. They're like independently developed striped equines from different continents.
But they're all called zebras.
But they are all collectively called zebras.
And if you lined like 3 of them up in a zoo, like, is a 5-year-old going to be able to tell the difference?
Yes.
Is he going to care?
All the kids are going to go nuts.
Oh, okay.
One of the most, with polar bears, possibly 2 of the most favorite animals of children in
Really?
zoos.
What color
Zebra?
is zebra striped gum?
Okay. But we haven't gotten any closer to solving the mystery of what color are zebras. I have
Nope.
2 guesses for white,
That means
one
we're
answer
wrong.
of no color. Nick, any thoughts on the matter?
It's like, who cares? I mean,
And then we have a who cares. Nick,
That's probably the
if
best
you want to
answer.
succeed in this class, you will need a better attitude than that one.
Seems like they're zebra striped. Wow, how much more complicated does it need to be?
Yeah,
They got
they're zebra
black
colored.
stripes over
Yeah.
white.
The great naturalist Stephen Jay Gould wrote one of his many essays on natural history, wrote several essays on zebras. He said, there's another way of phrasing this question. Jump back, put on your seatbelts. Is the striping a result from the inhibition of melanin or the deposition of melanin? If it's an inhibition,
Deposition.
then zebras are black animals. If a deposition, then zebras are white animals.
It's the deposition because they started off as animals that weren't in like hot desert areas.
Whether or not
Did they
evolved.
burn lying under a very specifically patterned tree at all times? What's
Is there a zebra-shaped grill somewhere where people are baking these? It is thought that striping was more common on ancestral horses. So,
Okay.
although modern horses rarely, though not never, rarely have striping, it is thought that the ancestors of horses, or the natural history of equines, had cases of striping, which is also borne out, and this is getting too esoteric for my taste, but I don't want to disappoint the class, in the embryology of zebras, because they can study when the stripes appear on the embryos and what cells they're coming from and things like that.
That is pretty cool. I don't understand embryology,
Oh, yeah.
but it's still that's
Like
interesting.
with
They
ultrasound
can
or something,
determine
how
those
they-
things.
It does sound like you know what you're talking.
Yeah.
yeah?
Yes, don't try this at home. That's why I'm the teacher. You know what melanin is?
Yeah.
What?
It's a chemical that gives you coloration of your skin.
All right, you get a gold star. Gold star for Dr. Andy Meredith.
Still in the negatives, though.
You need to
But
work
that's
on
like
your
that's
grade.
different things. There was like points and then there's stars. And we
Yeah.
don't know how the stars fit into the grading system.
The gold star is for an exceptional answer in the moment,
Okay.
Not actual points.
but not actual points
Right.
per se. Unless you have the most gold stars at the end, then that could supersede the points by virtue of your outstanding series of answers.
All right.
There's a naturalist called J.B. Bard, who in 1977 wrote an essay in which he claims to have observed zebras whose stripes were abnormal. So, for some reason in their development or defects or mutations, they did not have stripes as we normally think of it. Said blotches were white splotches on a black background. Thus, zebras are black animals with white stripes.
Damn.
I don't care what science says. I'm right.
Yeah.
I checked that.
I mean,
I can't.
have
My
they,
Bible tells me what color zebras are.
Yes.
have they ever shaved one?
Zebras also have dark-colored skin under their fur.
Okay. Damn it. Our answer.
I will say,
asked
Yuki
that.
says she looked at this up ahead of time on her own.
But I saw
Then
the
how
vi-
did you get the answer right?
Yeah,
But I saw the
You don't
the
cheat very well, do you?
yeah. The whole purpose of cheating is to actually get the answer right.
I saw the picture of zebra and their body is white.
Yes, that is one of the things
Yeah.
people sometimes point at, is that
Yeah,
the belly
it's
itself
white.
is
Yeah,
white.
it's totally
So
white. So
you
and then
normally
like a
think
black
that's the-
stripe. Yeah.
Yes, but no. That has to do with the deposition of the melanin, where it develops and where it accumulates in the fur.
Ask you what course this is?
This is the Gold Star Classroom.
General
all right.
education.
General
Oh,
education.
okay. All right.
General requirement for graduation of all students.
All right.
I'm going to tell you two famous people from history, and they have something a little bit unusual in common. You may know this if you know your, see if anyone knows this. Machine Gun Kelly has something in common with Ingrid Bergman, the actress. Any thoughts as to what that might be?
6 toes on 1 foot.
No, but thank you for guessing. Any other thoughts or guesses?
Both wildly overrated in their field.
Debatable, but worth bringing up.
Okay.
If I'll give you a clue, I'm going to tell you a third person, a famous person who has something in common with both of them, who is not overrated in their field.
Okay.
That's William Shakespeare. William
They're all
Shakespeare.
dead.
They are all dead, and although you can't get full credit for that, your observation is in the direction of what all three of them have in common.
They all died the same way?
They did not all die the same way, although they do have something in common with another famous
Wait, when did
person.
Machine Gun Kelly die?
When did Machine Gun Kelly die?
Yeah, he is not still alive.
Yes.
When did that happen?
That's old news.
Very, very old.
Yes.
70s, I think?
I don't have that detail in front of me, though I do have some of the birthdays in front of me. Also, Raphael the artist has something in common with all three.
They all had.
I think I'm operating under the wrong definition of Machine Gun Kelly. I know the rapper who grew up in Cleveland.
We're talking about the gangster.
We're talking about the old-timey gangster.
I have no idea who that is then.
Okay.
That would be.
But that would explain why you thought he was overrated.
Yeah.
Now it makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
This is the
Well, no, his first two albums were okay.
The original.
The original gangster.
The original. This is an actual gangster who killed people with machine guns.
Okay.
OG Machine Kelly.
Yes.
Well,
They were all illiterate.
His first name is George Machine Gun Kelly.
They were all named George.
No, but I'll add to the list George Washington Carver also has something in common with all the people already listed.
They all discovered peanuts.
They did not all discover peanuts.
Born under the same zodiac sign?
They were not born under the same zodiac sign as far as I know. But there is something about their deaths that all five of those people have in common. They all died on their birthdays.
Oh.
Very interesting.
It's like Shakespeare.
Shakespeare was one of the
Yeah.
names I just mentioned.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Miss Sonabay, you need to pay attention to the teacher when he's talking.
Sorry, I
I
was
want to die on my birthday. Not this coming one, but a birthday.
Because Raphael and Shakespeare are from further back in history, there's a little bit of conjecture. We're not 100% certain of their birth dates or death dates. But it is...
There's just some guy who came around with a book. And it's like, did you have a baby today?
Well, in having a baby...
I saw you walking around.
Shakespeare's birthday would have been registered at the local church a couple days after his birth. So you have to say,
Right,
this
the church
is when it
would
was
be a
registered.
thing that's like, 200 feet above, like underground by now. So,
Yeah.
like, how good are their records? Like,
And you also
That is a
know that
potential
they're written
problem.
on something that's like not even exactly paper.
Right.
Well, in church records, though, like, if you had a baby 2 days ago, wouldn't you just go up and say, hey, I had my baby 2 days ago? And then wouldn't they just write down that day?
No, because it's a baptismal record. What they do is
Oh,
they make a record of
baptismal
the
record.
baptism.
Oh,
Yes.
oh.
you are aware, of course, of the changes in calendars.
Oh.
So did you take that into consideration in this?
I did
as
not
well?
take that into consideration, although if you'd
Well,
like
that's
to
like a
explain
week.
to the class the changes in calendar.
Well, I'm
that
not
you
sure I
referred-
can explain it, but there was a change from the
It used...
the Julian to the Gregorian calendar.
Well,
We
there's
lost
that,
like a week.
and also it used to be that the first day of spring was New Year. So it also used to be how you counted years.
So things
changed.
used to make sense.
Right.
And- No, because you would still have the same Gregorian calendar year, but the new year would change in the middle of that calendar year.
Oh,
So it actually
that
makes
makes less sense.
correct. And that was corrected in the 1700s.
1789.
It is, according to common legend, suggested that Shakespeare died celebrating his birthday
That's what I'm talking about. That's how you go out.
over consumption
Yeah.
and celebration. Although, again, such records are not really complete. so-
Speedballing.
Now,
Should be.
did Machine Gun Kelly die of natural causes? Or
Or
was he killed? Because that would differentiate him from probably the others.
He is reported to have died of a heart attack at the age of 59.
Whorehouse heart attack.
Yes. That's the best kind of heart attack.
Exactly.
You got to be choosing an activity to go out doing. Legendary. That's like up in the top 3, at least.
On the topic of humorous deaths, you've all seen...
What's more funny than dying?
Correct. Now you're in the right frame of mind, Mr. Grimzik, for this next question. You've all seen in Roadrunner, Bugs Bunny cartoons, pianos falling on an X to crush a cartoon character. But does this actually happen?
Yeah.
Well, no, because most of the time, like they would see the X and then they would move slightly to the right of it, defying our expectations that the piano would hit him anyway.
Right. A historian has done a survey of about 100 years of American obituaries nationwide to try to identify how often in the past century or so someone has been killed by a piano falling on them.
Wow.
So I have an exact statistic. What would be your guess?
It has happened 23 times.
Do you have a guess, Yuki?
I have no ideas. I don't
No
know.
guess?
No.
Nothing?
Over 100 years in the United States.
Yes, this is going back to the late 1800s to the late 1900s.
Wow.
I'd say 137 times.
137
Before
times?
then, before they had good elevators, that had to have happened at least 3 or 4 times a year.
Is it furniture movers hauling
Yeah.
pianos up like that? Sure. So 3 or 4 times a year. So you're up
Yeah.
to 300 or 400. Is that your guess?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the person whose guess was the closest, Dr. Andy Meredith.
Oh.
26 piano deaths throughout the entire
Ah.
U.S.
Wowee.
over more than 100 years.
Wow.
However, actual furniture moving, cartoon-like, hauling pianos up and they fall on
Okay.
someone, there's only found 1 recorded death
Really?
by falling piano. The other piano falling
Porky
deaths are more domestic things like a piano falling over on a child or falling off the back of a truck.
Okay.
The classical hoisted up and dropping down on somebody, there was only one
One.
found anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was
one
gonna say,
time
Wow.
did Tex Avery see that happen? Run to his office.
By the craziest coincidence, it was right outside Tex Avery's office.
Wow.
I thought that's how
crazy.
Tex Avery died.
I think
He's the one guy.
we probably want to stress that this would be recorded, because I'm sure there were many, many others who
Well, this
probably
How do you hide
died
the-
in this way.
How do you hide dropping a piano on somebody though? You have a piano.
You ever
sitting on
been
the sidewalk
south of
with
the
a body
Mason-Dixon
on
line?
Yeah, a lot of
Sadly,
things,
yes.
A lot of things happen that go unreported.
it. They don't have music there though, so the piano thing doesn't work.
no one's ever died from dropping a fiddle on their foot during a drunken hoedown.
Jack Daniels died from kicking a safe.
Speaking of safes,
Yeah.
how many times do you think over that same survey someone died from a safe being dropped on their head?
You have those numbers too?
I'm gonna go
Yes, I
with,
do.
Really?
I'm gonna go with 3.
I would say it's not very many.
3 plus not very many.
So you can
It's still a small number.
Yeah.
What do you think?
10.
Yuki? We going 10?
10.
Yeah, it's going to be like a single-digit
Just
number.
pulling
It's
that
going
out
to
of
be like
nowhere.
Her or me?
Her.
Because these are researched facts, my friend. 7 cases of people being crushed by falling safes, but only 3 of which were the pure hoisted.
3, right on the nose.
Oh,
Gold star, Mr. Meredith.
I still don't get
I was
points.
going to say that's got to be worth some points. I would think. I mean,
A plus for Andy Meredith.
Say what I said in high school. Suck it! I got a better grade than you. I was not well liked.
No.
not that it demonstrates any knowledge. But just,
Demonstrates my test-taking ability.
that's right. That's all that matters.
Matters for your final grade.
I'm of a younger generation. We weren't taught to think and stuff like that.
taught
We
to
were
take
taught
tests.
to take tests.
That's right.
Yes, absolutely. And one day you too will be a doctor, like
Yes.
Dr. Andy Meredith.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right.
We can only aspire to such great.
That's what's sad is that there are a lot of people that aren't as good as me. Isn't that horrifying? I say to the world, like, oh, you guys aren't even trying.
It's quite a burden you bear, isn't it?
It is.
Knowing
Being
that
in the
there's-
middle. It's hard.
All right. Well, this brings us to the part of the class where we add up all the points, calculate all the grades, and pass out the coveted Golden Banana Prize. Today's Golden Banana Prize. Before we give out today's Golden Banana Prize, Dr. Andy Meredith, I'd like to give everyone a chance to say any final thoughts or remarks. Let's go around the table. Nick? Could you be a little more specific?
maybe. I mean,
In English, please.
I'm working on it. Give me
Use
that.
your words to express yourself. Tom?
I would
Any
just
parting
like to
thoughts?
say that I raised the issue of the polar bear,
Yes.
and we never came back to it. So at some point in the future, maybe that we can discuss that, because I think it is important.
What color is a polar bear? That will be on the next homework assignment.
It's because their fur is like translucent tubes, right?
Well, I think we need to have
What?
more time to discuss it.
Yuki?
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay. Thank you for joining
Thank
in.
you. I failed.
We're not saying you got the lowest grade.
I know.
Nick's grade wasn't that hot either.
No, not at all.
No. He did get bonus points for knowing the name Tex Avery, though.
There you go.
That's got to be worth
That's-
something.
I know a lot about cartoons.
But today's class. Oh, Andy
No, I
Meredith?
don't get final.
All of Dr. Meredith's thoughts are his final thoughts.
I just want to say, care about each other.
People care
Get
about
out
each
there.
other.
Care about one another.
Make a difference.
No, don't do that. That requires action.
Heck, whatever
and stuff.
you do,
just care. It's
Things
like
are
praying,
fine the
you
way
know?
they
Like,
are.
Think about it.
Yeah, just think about it.
stay at home and vaguely care from
Yeah.
the couch or near the vicinity
Exactly.
of your computer.
Yeah. And maybe it'll snowball into actually doing something.
Do we have to care about anyone in particular, or just
Just people,
in
man.
general?
Not Africa. Because clearly nobody does.
Well, you could be the first. Start a trend.
Well, lots of people care about Africa. A lot of stuff was done in Africa for the benefit of white people.
Yeah.
Like,
Thank you, my white ancestors.
yeah. None of my ancestors did anything.
Yeah.
The genetic makeup of Africa is also a very interesting question that will undoubtedly appear in a future class, but not today's.
You're gonna leave
Stay
us-
tuned.
leave us
Yes,
hanging.
stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned.
For next episode. All right.
So the winner of today's classroom prize, the golden banana, is Dr. Andy Meredith.
Yay! Thank you. Thank you. Put my degree to use.
It all pays off.
It does.
Yay.
And thank you to all the students for showing up today and joining
Thank
in
you.
on the class.
Yeah.
Gold Star Classroom is written and produced by Jerry Jaffe. Our producer and engineer is Stephen Gutierrez. Original music composed and produced by Jeff Geddert. Mr. Geddert is also our assistant producer. All commentary and opinions expressed by guests of Gold Star Classroom are meant for entertainment purposes only. For Gold Star Classroom, I'm Jerry Jaffe.